morning, everybody. Good morning. We're going to get started in just a second. It's Friday. Who here is excited that it's Friday? You get into crypto, every day could be Friday. That's what I'm talking about. Early morning crypto talk will begin in a second. I'm setting some things up here. What's going on, Jeremy? I see you, Corey. I see you, Mr. Smith. Paul, Trentino, Maisha Wilson. That is the exact name my cousin is. Maisha Wilson. Lashana Robinson, welcome. Or Lashana. I want to make sure I mess your name up right. What's going on, Teddy? Good morning, everybody. It's finally Friday. Friday's here for those of you working a 9-to-5 job, and thank God it's Friday. This has been a hell of a week, right? An exciting week. I'm just glad I woke up this morning and there was no real major news that took place. Nothing that really just, gets us all scared about what's going on in crypto world. So we're going to get started today. I said it right the first time, Lashana Robinson. Gotcha. I apologize sometimes. I'm horrible with names, but I get it right. So I've got a lot of, actually, even though it was kind of quiet, but there still was a lot of news articles that came out, especially I didn't do a late night crypto talk last night. So if you go more than 12 hours, the news starts to pile up, and it's very important that you always begin your day learning something new. And then you make sure you don't go to sleep without learning something new as well. In this space, it moves that fast. That's how fast it's moving. As much as I know, I am constantly learning and teaching myself. You heard that, Trentino? Archangel? Nah, that was Dillis. Happy Bunny or something like that. Bad Bunny by Dillis. That's my new theme. Hold on. I'll play it again for you right here. This is my new theme. You're gonna see it in all my videos now. I'm stuck on this. Yep, Bad Bunny. You know what? I get stuck on some things so much that I even turn around. If I got a song stuck in my head, I gotta play it on my keyboard as well. So I'll treat you guys to a little something here. Let's see here. All right. All right, that's enough of that. But yeah, this is my new theme. Bad Bunny by Deleuze. It'll be on my intros and my videos and my exits. All right, let's go ahead and get this Friday morning crypto talk started. And I've been really bad about the US dollar lately. Someone said, Brandon, you're an American. You keep bashing on America and crypto, and there's some good news today. Here's some good news. So we're gonna start off by sharing the good news side of this. So let me put this in the chat box here. Let's see. So you can either read along with me. All right. It is titled Household Wealth Jumps to Near $97 trillion. That's 72% higher than crisis level. All right. How about you guys? Has your household wealth jumped up? Are you guys feeling a little bit more prosperous than you did in 2008? I mean, I always find when I see articles like this, what does that really mean? Does that mean the average household maybe has an extra $10? Because an extra $10 is, per household. That's a large amount for the economy, but that's only $10 for you. Wait. What is this Christy says? You just brought property with BTC? That's what I'm talking about, Christy. Congratulations. I haven't looked at your guys' account lately. I don't, as far as on the BitConnect side, I don't know how much you guys have lended in there, but you are sitting on top of D Duncan, and D has brought in a bunch of people doing $100,000 and more in investments, and you guys are getting that 5%, 3%, 2% override. So I know you guys are killing it. Christy and Amos, you're so far down from me, I don't see any of that. I think Christy, you fall on what, my 5th level, maybe 4th. And see, in our, our affiliate program's only 3 levels deep. But congratulations on that. That's huge news. Buying property with Bitcoin. So do you guys feel more wealthy now? Household wealth jumps to near 97 trillion. Let's read what this has to say. This is an official article to CNBC. Oh, she's direct to you, Jeremy? Or is she underneath your mother? Because I know, you got your account, and you've got your mother. Is that where Christy falls? Or directly to your original account? I'm not sure about that, because I know D's 140 something K is like on my 6th level or something like that. But anyways, let's talk about household wealth. Household wealth in the U.S. rose nearly 2% in the third quarter and is approaching double the level it was during the financial crisis, according to Federal Reserve data released. Now, for you guys, do you feel double more wealthy today than you did during the financial crisis? Because a lot of these numbers can be skewed, since the majority of the wealth is held by the wealthy in the United States. So them having a rise can affect the entire market, and that's not necessarily impacting the rest of us. So the balance sheet for Americans now shows $96.9 trillion in wealth, up from $95.2 trillion in the second quarter, for a new record that represents an 8% gain from a year ago and a 72% surge since the 2008 crisis low. Another quarter of stellar stock market performance contributed greatly to the wealth surge. Equity value jumped 1.1 trillion to 17.3 trillion. The S&P 500 has gained more than 18% this year. Again, I got to ask, who's feeling this increase? Because if I was not in crypto, I'd be on a 9-to-5 job right now, paying me chump change, struggling just to pay the bills and put food on the table, and working my butt off on a 9-to-5 job for 40 hours a week at least, not counting travel time and preparation time. So for me, yeah, the life is good. It's better than before, but that's because I made a choice to get into crypto, where I don't have to work a 9-to-5 job, where I make more money in a month than most people make in a year. That has nothing to do with the economy. I made a choice. So the question here is, who is feeling this increase? And then you guys aren't jumping in saying, I am. How many average Americans in this country? I gotta put this on mute. People always want to call me right when I'm doing my Facebook Live. All right, there we go. So, however, the biggest move in that regard was the government, which saw a 10.3% rise and is now more than $20 trillion. The Fed attributed the move to restoration of government trust funds. There's government trust funds? the Treasury had been using to keep operations going during the 2017 debt limit impasse. Business debt rose 5.4%, and household debt was up 3.7%, a move that is consistent with previous quarters over the past year or so. That's interesting. I don't know how many people is actually saying that they feel more wealthy now, but that's what this article is telling us. All right, let's look at some other news before I get into the topic of this Facebook Live. Let's see, what's other news? Yahoo. You guys remember that company? Yahoo co-founder Jerry Yang is a believer in Bitcoin as a currency. That's important because the IRS or the SEC wants to identify Bitcoin not as a currency, but as a commodity, as a store of value, as a security, like property. So let's see what the Yahoo founder has to say. I didn't even know Yahoo's kind of still around. Good grief. Yahoo co-founder believes digital currencies will play a significant role in the future of society, even though Bitcoin isn't quite there yet. That's true. I agree with that. And this is what the critics don't understand. Bitcoin is still evolving. It is still in the early adapter phase. We have not set a baseline yet for what the true value of Bitcoin is going to be. And really, you need to have most of the coins need to be mined at that point. The market needs to stable out as far as value. It's going to have to kind of hit the gold mark. You don't see, gold it's kind of set at its value at what it is. It's been at that same value for 100 years. That's not really going to change too much. Once Bitcoin reaches that point, then you're going to see people's their behavior towards Bitcoin change a bit. It'll still be a store of value to store your wealth, but people will be using it more for transactions, and better get used to the word Satoshi. 1 Satoshi, 2 Satoshi, 10 Satoshi. You better get used to that. Because the Bitcoin goes down, 9 decimal points, which represents trillions and trillions of dollars. So when people say, how can it be a currency if there's only 21 million in existence? Because it's split up in decimal points. The US dollar is split up in 2 decimals. We don't go below 1 penny. We don't go half a penny or a quarter of a penny when we talk about currency. But Bitcoin, however, goes all the way down 9 decimals. So get used to that. So he goes on to say, speaking at the sidelines of the Fortune Global Forum in China, Yahoo co-founder Jerry Yang drew parallels to Bitcoin's volatility and technology stocks from the early days of the internet. Refreshingly, the early internet pioneer opted to speak about Bitcoin as a currency rather than the go-to narrative of its value at a time when Bitcoin price struck a new all-time high of $15,000 today. Bitcoin as a digital currency is not quite there yet. People are not using it to transact. People are using it as an investable asset. For the most part, that's true. Most people are not just using their Bitcoin to do all their day-to-day transactions. However, people like me, we live off of this. So yeah, I am not a holder of Bitcoin. My current strategy right now is not to stock up as many Bitcoin as I can and hold on to it. I earn Bitcoin. I live off of it. I pay my bills and everything with it. And I build up my bank account with it. And I invest in other things with it. I'm not a holder of Bitcoin. Now, my strategy is going to change a little bit in 2018, where I will have a set budget set aside just to store up not just Bitcoin, but other cryptocurrency coins that I will never touch. It's like my little savings account. Instead of putting money into my savings account, I'm putting the money in the cryptos and I'm spreading it around and letting it grow every single week. I'll have a budget, maybe doing either $5,000 or $10,000 a month just in cryptos to store. I haven't done that yet, so you hackers out there, don't even look at me. I ain't got nothing for you to hack. I don't hold and store this stuff. I live off of it. All right. Yang's remarks about digital currencies like Bitcoin ring a similar tune to those offered by Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, who sees Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency that is more genuine and real than the US dollar and superior to gold as a store of value. But for now, Yang added, it seems like Bitcoin is more driven by the hype of investing and getting a return rather than using it as a transactional currency. That's true. That is true. Oh yeah, Jeremy, I'm already getting Litecoin. I have not gotten any EOS yet. So I'll look in that EOS, but I do have Litecoin. All right, enough of that article. Let's see what else here before I get into the main one. Survey shows South Korea is ahead of Japan and US in Bitcoin awareness. I think everybody's ahead of the United States as far as Bitcoin awareness. I mean, you guys could have just looked at Stormy Wellington's rant about Bitcoin to show that most Americans are dumb when it comes to knowing what cryptocurrency is. Yeah, I had to throw a Stormy pun in there somewhere. No, I ain't letting that go. Not anytime soon. So let me put the link to this article in there. Let's talk about this. Recent public surveys in Korea, Japan, and the US reveal different levels of Bitcoin awareness and adoption in the 3 top Bitcoin markets. The country with the strongest awareness has the fewest Bitcoin exchanges and least volume of the 3. In check this out. In America, all right, this is knowledge I know. In America, it's like 0.5% of Americans have an understanding of what Bitcoin and crypto is, and even blockchain. In South Korea, it's 90%. 90%. She already is a meme. You should see the memes I have. There's some memes I can't post publicly. She already is a meme. We're talking about Stormy Wellington. So mobile phone survey specialist DoIt released the results of its perception and prospects for Bitcoin survey taken in South Korea this week. Local publications reported. The survey was conducted between December 1st and the 4th, with 3,018 participants aged 20 or older. The sampling error range was plus 1.78% points, and giving it a 95% confidence level, according to the company. Regarding respondents' familiarity with Bitcoin, 44.1% of those surveyed said, I have heard the name. Okay, so 44% said they had at least heard the name. 35.1% said, I know it, and 10.8% answered, I know it well. Meanwhile, 10% replied, I do not know it at all. Altogether, the number of respondents who have heard of Bitcoin amounts to 90%. Last Saturday morning, I did a Facebook Live, and it's rare that I turn the camera on. But my Sunday morning lives, I do. Like tomorrow morning, I'm telling you guys right now, the topic is going to be about MLM. It's going to be about, in MLM, you leverage other people. And in crypto, you leverage your own money. And we're going to talk about that in detail tomorrow morning. But last Saturday, a woman approached me while I was doing my live because she said, she wanted to make some money. So I don't know if she overheard me, because at the time I wasn't talking about money. So whatever reason, she equated me sitting on the bench with my camera that I was about some money. So she came up talking about I want to make some money. And I asked her, yeah, that's the dog groomer. I asked her if she knew about Bitcoin, and she said no. She ain't never heard about Bitcoin. That's most average people out there, especially in America. So it says, in terms of demographics, Bitcoin is most popular among respondents in their 30s. 29.8% of this age group admitted to having purchased the digital currency. By comparison, 26.3% in their 40s, 22.4% in their 20s, and 23% in their 50s claim to have experience in purchasing Bitcoin. South Korea is one of the largest cryptocurrency markets. The Korean won is currently the third most traded currency for Bitcoin, behind only Japan and the US. The country's largest Bitcoin exchange, BitHum, currently has the highest Bitcoin trading volume out of all exchanges worldwide. Bitcoin trading volume in the country has fully surpassed that of Kosdaq, the Korean version of the Nasdaq stock exchange. This revelation has prompted the regulators in the country to hurry to regulate the crypto market. In addition, the country's most popular chat app, Kakao Talk, has recently integrated a cryptocurrency exchange called Upbit with over 110 cryptocurrencies. Kakao Talk has over 200 million users and is installed on over 95% of smartphones in South Korea. Good grief. 8% know what a blockchain is. Think about that. 8% over there know that. Now, compared to Japan, Japan is currently the leader in the cryptocurrency market, with the Japanese yen occupying the largest Bitcoin trading market share. The country also has made Bitcoin a legal method of payment for all goods and services back in April. See, this is how far behind America is. Since then, Bitcoin adoption and merchant adoption there have grown significantly. Recently, Bitcoin.com reported on a Japanese survey of 10,000 respondents. 88% of them know what Bitcoin is, but only 4.7% have purchased it. Among Japanese Bitcoin purchases, 42% said they purchased Bit because they were interested in digital currencies. The same percentage is expected to grow in the future. 33% bought Bitcoin because they believe it to be profitable. 54% purchased it as a long-term investment, and 42% as a short-term investment. Now, compared to the United States, the US dollar is currently the second largest Bitcoin market behind the Japanese yen. On Monday, crypto PR firm Ditto published a cryptocurrency public knowledge report. The firm conducted a survey in the first week of November with 500 respondents over 18 across the U.S. They found almost 70% of respondents are unfamiliar with cryptocurrencies, and almost 90% do not know what an ICO is. 90% of Americans. The most informed segment is the millennials, with 1 in 5 of them familiar with Bitcoin. You guys see this? The United States has always led the world in technological innovation since World War II, especially after the space race. Yet here we are today with the biggest invention the world has seen since agriculture. And 70% of Americans don't even know what cryptocurrency is, and 90% have never even heard of an ICO. This is sad, but those of you listening right now, that means you're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of this trend, because soon enough, I give it 1 year where those numbers are going to reverse. 70% of all Americans are going to be familiar with cryptocurrency. 90% will be familiar with Bitcoin. And that is not me making up that term since agriculture. You know who says that? John McAfee, Sir Richard Branson, Steve Wozniak have all said that. This is the most impactful invention to hit the planet for the most amount of people since agriculture. That's how huge this is. And you guys saw that this week with the price swing and the rise of Bitcoin. Here's an interesting one. Bitcoin price frenzy. GDAX goes down after price clips $19,000. That's right, yesterday. It actually hit $19,000. What's going on, Linda? I see you. Do you know how powerful that is? I mean, just a couple of months ago, it went down to $2,900 and jumped to $19,000. So what happened with GDEX? And GDEX is tied to Coinbase, and Coinbase is notorious. Every single time something goes down with Bitcoin, whether it's a rise or a fall, they have issues. They freeze up or they shut down. So this is no surprise, but it's historic. So Bitcoin's record-setting run took another unprecedented turn on Thursday as the Bitcoin price ripped past $19,000 on cryptocurrency exchange GDAX, leaving a trail of altcoin carnage in its wake. However, the rally was characterized by unusual trading activity, including one of the largest BTC-USD spreads in recent memory. The breathtaking climb saw Bitcoin rise more than $5,000 in a span of 12 hours. Oh my gosh. It rose $5,000 in 12 hours. The journey from 17,000 to 18,000 took just 15 minutes. And the leap from 18,000 to 19,000 was accomplished in 5 minutes. By 11:30 a.m., see, this, I remember this. Yesterday morning, I'm on the West Coast. So I took my son to school. I woke up and it had hit 16,000. And I was afraid. I said, you know what? It was at 15,000 before I went to sleep on Wednesday night. And I was like, I'm afraid to go to sleep because I'm going to wake up. It might be, some ungodly number. Well, I woke up, it was at 16,000. By the time I took my son to school, it was at 17,000. By the time I got home, because this was like at 7:55 a.m. yesterday, and then I got home at about 8:15. So that's around 11 a.m. Eastern time. So this is by 11:30 a.m., it had reached 19,000. So when I got home at 8:15, which is about 11:15 Eastern, it was over $18,000. I was like, what the heck happened? I just hopped in the car and went to school. And it jumped $1,000 since I left. I also feel sick because I had moved I had $3,000 in one of my Bitcoin accounts when I woke up in the morning. And before I took my son to school, I moved it off of Bitcoin. And had I kept it there, I would have made $1,000 in 5 minutes. Had I kept it there. But you can't predict these things sometimes. That's what happens. But by 11:30 a.m. Eastern time yesterday, the Bitcoin price had reached 19,697 and was threatening to crack 20,000. This ascent left many people puzzled because it was not replicated on other prominent Bitcoin exchanges. That's true, because I remember saying, I see it on the Coinbase, but I don't see it on CoinMarket and the other sites. I'll resume. People are funny sometimes. If they send you a message and you don't respond fast enough, they start calling. That was Marwan right there. All right. The ascent left many people. What I was saying was, when I saw the price rising, I'm checking the other loans. I'm looking at crypto 30. Then I'm looking at CoinMarketCap, and I'm like, they're not all equal. This thing is all over the place. Which one to trust? I look at my apps for my the Bitcoin calculators, and it's still showing 15,000 and 16,000, where the other markets is already up 18,000. So they weren't even able to catch up fast enough. Hey Marwan, yeah, I just called you out, man. Put your notifications so you can see when I'm doing a live, so you can tell. I had to call you out. So, Bitstamp, for instance, peaked at 15,995, while Bitfinex only made it to $15,700. Spreads between Bitcoin exchanges are expected, but this is undoubtedly the largest percentage spread that Bitcoin has seen in recent memory. The spread was so drastic that GDAX traders were paying just $100 less than traders on Korea-based BitHum, which regularly prices Bitcoin at a 20% premium over the global average. Immediately after reaching $19,000, the Bitcoin price began to plunge, and by 11:55 it had careened down to $15,100. 3 minutes later, GDAX went down, moving all markets into post-only mode, meaning that traders could place limit orders but could not execute any trades. Bitcoin remained frozen at $16,299. Some observers began to wonder aloud whether GDAX's system had encountered an error or had been breached by a hacker, but the exchange resumed trading approximately about 30 minutes later, and the Bitcoin price began to recover from the dip that occurred just prior to the outage. At the time of this writing, Bitcoin was trading at $16,889 on GDAX, a full $2,000 above its price on Bitfinex. The global average, meanwhile, was $16,096, providing Bitcoin with a market cap of $269 billion. You know what? Right now, this article came out last night, but as of right now, that's that $269 billion was Bitcoin's market cap. So Bitcoin now is at $262 billion. Yesterday, it reached $300 billion. $300 billion was the market cap just for Bitcoin. That's sick. The total market cap right now is $423 billion, which is crazy. We're getting close to it being $500 billion market cap. All right, now let's go to the title of this Facebook Live, which is Bitcoin's Wild Ride, a rundown of Thursday's dizzying movements. I just talked about, for me, you know, I went to sleep Wednesday night actually at 3 a.m., no, almost 4 a.m. Bitcoin was at $15,000. I woke up, it was at $16,000. I took my son to school. By the time right before I took him to school, I reached $17,000. By the time I got back, which is just 15 minutes later, it was at $18,000. And then it jumped to $19,000. This was all just yesterday morning. Didn't have time to do anything and react. We just all sat there looking at it with our mouths wide open and posted on Facebook. You guys see this? You see what's happening? So, all right, so let's talk about Bitcoin's wild ride. Widespread outages. A $4,000 spread between two of the largest Western exchanges. The fastest $1,000 Bitcoin price surge in history. Yeah, 5 minutes. Those were just a few of the events that Bitcoin traders encountered on Thursday. A day that proved to be one of the most frantic in recent memory. The Bitcoin price began the day on an incline, punching through $15,000 less than 24 hours after reaching $13,000. The rapidity of Bitcoin's climb triggered a mass exodus from the altcoin markets as traders rushed to increase their Bitcoin holdings to profit from the rally. In other words, for you guys that don't understand what that means, let's say, for example, somebody might have an Exodus account, or they may have an account on Bittrex or Poloniex or GitHub or HitBTC, and they may have their portfolio spread out between the altcoins like Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Litecoin, the Monero, Ripple. What people tend to do, because it's faster, instead of trying to buy a bunch of Bitcoins real fast, they move their money from those altcoins into their Bitcoin account so that their money rises in value because Bitcoin's rising in value. So when Bitcoin has a huge surge like that, and you don't really see an influx of new money coming in, it is just people moving around altcoins. So you'll see the altcoins dip while Bitcoin rises. And then when you see what happens is when people sell their Bitcoins, when they sell them, they then spread them back out to their altcoins. Then you start to see the altcoins rise again. It's like a pendulum. You know, when one rises, the other falls, and vice versa. So that's what happened. So this influx of former altcoin capital propelled Bitcoin forward at an even brisker pace, and the flagship cryptocurrency began to soar with virtually no resistance. This was especially true on GDAX, a professional U.S. trading platform operated by Coinbase. Within a 12-hour span, the Bitcoin price leaped by $5,000, and the last $1,000 took just 5 minutes. At 11:30, the Bitcoin price nearly pierced $20,000, although it ultimately met resistance after peaking at 19,697. You know what else is amazing? Before it even reached 18,000, there was huge sell walls for 18,000 and 19,000. So the moment the price hit that mark, then a lot of people began to sell. But even though they were selling, it still was going up. There was still a lot of money pushing that sucker higher, and it finally met the resistance and halted at 19,697 when all the whales began to sell to get their profit. The rally left many investors dumbstruck. But perhaps even more shocking was the fact that it was largely localized to GDAX. That's not, you know what, it's not that shocking. Because in America, most people, when they first come into the crypto space, they set themselves up with a Coinbase account. And they start buying Bitcoin for the first time through Coinbase. So that was an influx of new money that came through GDAX. The other exchanges was using altcoin money to fuel Bitcoin. But Coinbase and GDAX, you had an inflection, infusion of new money that was driving this thing. So even as Bitcoin went parabolic on GDAX, it failed to surpass $16,000 on either Bitstamp or Bitfinex, two other large exchanges that offer USD trading pairs. At one point, the spread between GDAX and Bitfinex swelled to $4,000, a gap that would have even appeared excessive on BitHam, a Korean exchange notorious for its large premiums. And then Bitcoin began to go back to earth. The dump came as quickly as the ascent, and within minutes, the Bitcoin price had shed more than $4,500 on GDAX. Although it continued to trade above $15,000, at least briefly. At this point, as has so often been the case, the flurry of activity led to cascading exchange outages as traders frantically searched for an operational exchange. Coinbase reported receiving record traffic at approximately 11 a.m. and less than an hour later, shortly after Bitcoin clipped $19,000 and began to plunge, GDAX halted market orders. Before long, users were reporting outages on Kraken and Bitfinex, although all of the exchanges were accessible again at the time of writing. At present, Bitcoin is trading at a global average of $16,724, representing a single-day increase of 23%. Movements like this are to be expected of a nascent asset class like cryptocurrency, but given this present level of volatility, one begins to wonder whether CBOE, CME, and other exchanges planning to launch Bitcoin futures will be able to tame Bitcoin after all. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's an unknown. The biggest question is, when is the market going to correct? See, I do not believe that we have seen a correction yet. I think that was just a flash rise and a flash crash within 24-hour period. But you have to understand, we shot up from $10,000 to $16,000 in a relatively short time. Just days. The market has not corrected yet. I now believe, as I predicted this last week, I said, if Bitcoin does not reach 14,000, then I could see it correcting all the way down to 8,000. If it reaches 14,000, then 10,000 is the new floor. So whatever market correction happens, it probably won't go below 10,000. It might, at this point, go down to $12,000. Now, that's a huge drop. That's a $4,000 drop. And the haters out there are going to say, see, I told you it was a bubble. It crashed. And we're going to say, what are you talking about? It's still at $12,000, which is the highest it's been all year. It was never 12,000 this whole year. It's still up. But they'll say it's crashing and it's a scam. And they'll do that when it's at 50,000 a coin and it drops to 40,000. It's a scam. I told you the bubble is going to burst. It lost $10,000 overnight. I told you. It's still $40,000, fool. What are you talking about? But here's one piece of wisdom. Buy the dip. The market correction is going to happen, and when it happens, buy the dip because it's going to go back up. What's throwing a monkey wrench in this whole thing is the CBOE, which goes live on the 10th, which is just 2 days from now. You're going to have billions of dollars, and the big boys are going to enter the Bitcoin arena. We don't know what effect that's going to have. That may halt the dip. That might halt the market correction and push it up even higher. It might go right back to 20,000. And then on the 18th, the CME comes online, which might continue pushing it up. We don't know where this thing's going to end at the end of the year. We're like, yeah, it might hit 15,000 by the end of the year. It hit 15,000 before the 7th. So what's going to happen at the end of the year? We don't know. If it goes to 25,000 by the end of this year, do you know what that means for 2018? But then again, when is it going to market correct? Because when you stretch a rubber band like that, it's going to snap back on you. We just don't know. This is uncharted territory. We're all experiencing this for the first time. But you'll have the so-called predictors out there. I'm one of them that have my opinion on what things may do. We'll see. Well, I think I've reached my 45-minute level. People have been asking me if I can do these lives for 5 minutes long. Keep it 5 to 10 minutes so that, they have time to listen to it. And you know what? I thought about that, even up to 30 minutes. I can't put a time period on that. I can't. There is absolutely no way possible I can go over information like this in 5 minutes. That's not possible. So I'm just going to go back to whatever it is whatever it is. If 15 minutes, great. If it takes 45 minutes, that's what it takes. You can decide to listen or not listen. I got to stay true to doing what I do, how I do it. But I will try to be mindful of the time to cover articles. Especially next year, I'm looking at starting a podcast. And people keep telling me they want me to get on the radio. So something I'll do something. But I try not to go past 45 minutes. Try not to. But when I hang up with you guys, I continue to read. I continue to learn. I don't stop just because I turned off the Facebook Live. So today is Friday. Depending on news, over the next 8 hours today, we'll see if we do a late night, Friday night crypto talk. Depending on the news. But tomorrow morning, you're not going to want to miss. When I go downtown to go get my donut and I do a Facebook Live, you're not going to want to miss that one because I'm going to be addressing the MLM industry again. Only this time, I'll give you a little preview. Here's a preview. MLM people, here is what their selling point is for people that's working a 9-to-5 job. Their selling point is this. And the reason why I know it is because I did this for 19 years. I'm going to tell you, here's exactly what I would say. Monday morning is coming up. You're going to be excited with your weekend. Monday morning is going to come up. You're going to wake up Monday morning. You're going to rush off into rush hour traffic to go to a job you don't like, to work with people you can't stand, to eat lunch at 12 when you're hungry at 11, to ask for permission to go to the bathroom as if you are a child, to do this for 40 years of your life, knowing that you're going to retire broke, depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. Knowing that you're living paycheck to paycheck, no 401k, no savings, no retirement. Social Security is a joke. You're working 40 hours a week. You're barely making enough money to pay your bills. When the car breaks down, you need to decide, do you pay your rent or pay to get your car fixed? Because it seems to always happen at the end of the month when rent is due. And what happens if you don't work a job anymore? If you get sick, if you get laid off, what happens to your income? It stops, because 100% of your income is based on you working a 9-to-5 job. So you need to have an open mentality, an open mindset, and look at becoming an entrepreneur, to joining the network marketing business, a home-based business. Why? Because here's the difference. In a home-based business, we live off of what J. Paul Getty said. And J. Paul Getty said that I'd rather earn 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. So if 10% of my organization does not go to work, I still have 90% income coming in. That is the MLM pitch. That is what walked me off my job at 35 years old. I haven't worked a job since. And that is 100% true. The pitch. It's true. However, this is the big however. We are moving to the next level. Cryptocurrency and investing is the next level above network marketing. Because in network marketing, we went from trading time for money. For those of you that work a 9-to-5 job, you're trading time for money. In network marketing, you're leveraging other people to make money. You're leveraging other people. The more people you have on your team that you're earning a percentage on, the more money you're going to make. But in the crypto world, in the investment world, we're taking it to the next step. We're leveraging money. We're doing what the wealthy people do. We let our money work for us. See, money doesn't need a three-way call. Money doesn't need me to go and do a home-based presentation. Money doesn't need me to pass out samples. Money doesn't need me to answer 101 million dumbass questions all day long. Money doesn't need me to fly to do a convention in another city. Money doesn't take a vacation. Money doesn't talk back. Money doesn't sleep. See, in the crypto world, we let our money work for us. How much did I make last night while I was sleeping? I made $585 last night while I was sleeping. I woke up to that, which means I'm on pace to do probably a little over $1,000 today, maybe about $1,200 today. No matter what I do today, I can go take a nap, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. That's because money is working for you. So tomorrow, I just gave you guys a preview. I'm going to go over that in more detail and why the MLM people are screaming bloody murder about crypto right now. So you don't want to miss that tomorrow morning. I can't tell you what time that's going to be. It depends on when I wake up. You know, I might wake up at 7:30. I might wake up at 9:30. Who knows? So set your alerts. If you love hearing my Facebook lives, then set your alerts to be notified whenever one of my lives gets started. And they're always recorded, so if you miss it, you can always go back and watch the recording. So with that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. God bless. Bitcoin Brandon out. Let's make some crypto. Bye-bye.